Hi, I am Dr. Joseph Hebert, the tuba instructor at Loyola University in New Orleans. I will be covering set 1, number 28 in this session. We will look at the styles, the articulation, the phrasing, and suggested practice techniques. So set number 1, number 28, it's an E flat major. Now, you know you have to play all your major scales, so practice those. That's a given. The first thing, let's look at the markings. It says Andante Semplice, which means moderately slow and simple. Immediately under that, it says Dulce, which is smooth, somewhat sweet sounding. It has piano marking. It's not until we get into measure 14 that it has a slight crescendo. But I'm going to play for you now measures 1 through 9. And except for measures 30 and 38, they're all the same except for the first note. Reminder, get off the tie note. Many times we hold that tie note too long, try to grab a breath, and then we're behind in the tempo. And this is especially true with ensembles. So go ahead and take a breath on that tied 8th note, and let's see what we can do with it. So here is number 28, measures 1 through 9. So that was measure 1 through 9. Next, I'm going to do 10 through 25. Let me call to your attention that in measure 24, there is a misprint. I've checked several editions and it seems to have carried through. What was written is a dotted quarter followed by a quarter, followed by a quarter and 2/8. When you analyze that, that's too many beats. It's a half a beat too much. The correct rhythm should be a dotted quarter followed by a quarter and then 3/8 notes. So now here is measure 10 through 25. And also we'll notice that measure 15, 16, and 17, you have a descending line. I would suggest bringing out the changing notes. I will kind of emphasize that for you. And also in measure 17, the same thing. The consistent notes, which in this case are G's and D's, you'll hear those because they're repeated. The main thing is let everyone hear the descending line. So that was measure 10 through 25. Also notice that you have a retard at different places, but you have to stay in tempo, so to speak. I would also suggest that when you practice this, try it a few times without the grace notes. After you feel comfortable knowing the melody, then go ahead and add the grace notes. Next, I will play 43 to the end, calling to your attention that in measure 44, there is a retard for 2.5 beats. You want to bring that out a little bit. So here now is measure 43 to the N. Again, as a suggestion for practicing, start at measure 30 and go to the end of the piece. Get real familiar with that to where you're very comfortable with it. Then maybe jump up to measure 15, starting on those descending lines. Practice that all the way to the bottom of the piece again. Then go to the very top, play it down. I have found through my experience, especially when you're dealing with auditions for Allstate, that most people get a little nervous towards the end. They might bobble a note or miss a note, and they're going into a less familiar area because they haven't practiced the end that much. They practice the beginning, they make a mistake, whether they start back at the beginning. So practice the end of the pieces to where you become very, very familiar with it. Also, I would like to tell you that if you are in the New Orleans area, please feel free to give me a call. My cell phone number is 504-457-6530. And let's get in a free lesson to try to help you do the best job you can for the Allstate auditions. Thank you very much.